I decided to order some pizza while watching this episode. Big mistake. Rest in peace my pizza. But yeah, let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Chainsaw Man review full of blood, gore, and this. Oh my god. Join me each week as I break down the new episode without any spoilers for anime watchers. And now, let's jump into the latest episode. The new episode picks up right from where the latest episode ended. Denji jumps into the Eternity Devil's mouth and starts tearing it apart. This is also the first time the rest of the group witnesses Denji's devil form, and we can see from their reaction that this is not something you see every day. Denji is indeed special, but we still don't know why. The problem is that he still can't reach his heart, and the devil brutally strikes Denji, causing him to lose a lot of blood. While fighting, the devil mentions that Chainsaw is much weaker now. That is more proof that he knows him and possibly even fought with him in the past. What again makes me believe this Chainsaw Man devil before he merged with Denji was some extremely special devil. Power mentions that Denji's chainsaw will retract once he loses too much blood, just like in his battle against Batman. But Denji finds a solution and he drinks the devil's blood to fuel his own powers, so he is basically unstoppable. We jump to Himeno's flashback from the graveyard with another team member we haven't met yet. We can understand a few things from that scene. First, we see that every one of the group members seem to have little vices and addictions. Just like Aki and Himeno are chain smokers, this guy uses alcohol to relax himself. This comes to show you how this line of work takes its toll on even the strongest of people. Even they must find little ways to cope with all of the tension and losing their friends all around. Second, we can tell he is superior to Himeno as she keeps addressing him with respectful titles like Sir and Master. And lastly, we see where Himeno heard the fact about devils being afraid of crazy devil hunters. The same fact she will later tell Aki. He tells Himeno her partners all died because they fear devils might kill them. That fear is what made the devils stronger and eventually led to their death. He says that just like her partners, the hunters going for the gun devil are earnest, honest and straightforward. This is why devils know how to deal with them, because they understand their fears and how they operate. But what they will fear most is the crazy devil hunters. Those they cannot predict or fully understand their motives. At the end of the day, devils, just like humans, are afraid of the things they don't understand, and that's why they fear the crazy devil hunters much more. He tells her to train Aki seriously, because he is serious about finding the remaining gunflesh pieces. But he also asks Himeno if Aki is crazy enough to handle someone like the gun devil, but we see Himeno herself is not that sure. Himeno believes Aki is so serious and kind, and that's why she believes he will end up dead. Especially when he will face a devil like the gun devil who can kill people in a second, and Aki is not crazy enough to be much of a challenge for him. That's why we see her later trying to convince Aki to live together for the private sector and forget about the devil hunters and the gun devil. But of course, Aki being so determined immediately refuses. In the past she told Aki he's crazy enough to handle him, but we can clearly see she didn't really think that way. She was maybe trying to boost his confidence, but she still worries he's not up for the fight just yet. So her trying to convince him to leave was simply her trying to save his life, which makes us see how much she really cares for him. We go back to the fight in the hotel and Denji is knocked down, but Himeno uses the ghost devil to start his engine again. That makes Denji immediately jump back to the fight. Denji goes wild and tells the devil he can go on forever. He is an unstoppable machine. He may get injured, but he heals himself by drinking the devil's blood. Himeno, looking at the fight from above, understands that Denji is the type of crazy they needed. He has that insane and unpredictable personality devils are known to be afraid of. We have a little time skip and 3 days have gone by. We see Denji really is unstoppable as he reaches the devil's heart and the devil apologizes and asks him to kill him. That devil is absolutely demolished, but for Denji it was more like a fun workout. For him, this fight was fun. And after he destroys the heart, he grabs his first gunflesh piece from the dead devil. And with that, the group is finally free to leave that cursed hotel. A little bit later we meet Aki and Himeno on a random hunting mission. Himeno wants to gather everyone for drinks to celebrate and to get to know each other. She also thinks that would be a good opportunity for them to tell Denji they are sorry for trying to kill him. Kobeni and Arai also want to leave the devil hunters, so Himeno thinks that bonding experience will be good for them. She doesn't seem too bothered by the fact that she also wanted Denji killed, and Aki calls her out. She only wants to gather everyone to get free drinks. Aki finds a little gun flesh piece. He notices there have been many gun flesh pieces lately and he wonders why. He then tells Himeno the party needs to be this week so Makima can join them as well. She needs to get to Kyoto to bring more reinforcements now the devils apparently are trying to hunt Denji. Himeno asks Aki if he knows what Denji really is because Makima is clearly very interested in him. She is so interested in him that apparently she doesn't leave Tokyo that much these days, while in the past she was always traveling. Here we also see Himeno doesn't trust Makima that much. Does Makima know Denji's secret? They decide to ask her at the party while they are all drunk, hoping they will get some answer. From there we jump straight to the party and we meet some new faces and we get a lot of information about the group. Now, I don't like getting attached to new characters because they usually die really fast, so I don't even try to learn their names just yet. So this devil hunter seems to also have a fiend under his custody, just like Power. We learn that his appearance might be frightening for humans and that's why he's not present at the party. We also learn this fiend has a very high IQ, and of course, Power lies about her own tests just to show how childish she is. And naturally, she is very self-entitled and rude around the rest of the group as she constantly calls dibs on the food on the table. Denji, as expected, reminds Himeno of the kiss she promised him, and she in return asks him for forgiveness for trying to kill him. But for Denji, it is all good and forgotten, and it's admirable how he's not holding grudges against them. The new hunters introduce themselves and Aki tells Denji to not reveal his contract with people he doesn't know. In response, we see how the other hunters look at Aki as too uptight and serious. Next, we learn that some devils allow contracts with several humans, like for example, the Fox Devil. Apparently, the Fox Devil is friendly towards humans and allows that. But I have a feeling we will hear more about that in the future. Kobeni introduces herself next, but also refuses to disclose her contract. She is 20 years old and has lots of brothers, which seems weird to me because she was sent to work to finance college for one brother, so where are the rest of her brothers? Also, this hunter seems to really like Kobeni as she constantly flirts with her and tells everyone how great Kobeni is. The group talks about how often people die in this business and all the friends they lost. Meanwhile, Himeno is getting drunker. She tells everyone Denji can't die because he is waiting for his kiss, but at that exact moment, Makima shows up. Denji, like a typical teenager, is stuck between his wish to kiss anyone, but he also doesn't want Makima to see him kiss someone else. We also find out that some of the people around the table never even met Makima before. Denji changes the subject, telling Makima he found his first gun flash, and Makima of course is very proud of him. Aki points out the devils with gun flesh pieces are getting more frequent, and the last one came after Denji. He asks Makima if she knows why Denji is special, and she offers him a drinking challenge. If he wins, she will tell him. But soon after, both he and Himeno are wasted, and Makima just orders another beer. Now, I had my eye on this one from the first episode, and with every episode, I start believing she is not really a human. I don't know what her deal is, but I'm sure there is something pretty important there. And here came my trauma for this episode, where Himeno starts kissing Denji, and then literally throws up in his mouth. And this is the last time I'm eating pizza while watching this show. Denji has a flashback with Puchita and some rats. And then we see him in the bathroom, realizing he's like those rats he saw then on the street. At that moment, we see Arai coming closer to Denji, comforting him and telling him he is jealous of him for being such a good hunter. From there, Himeno literally carries Denji to her apartment. Here we see how much Himeno doesn't like Makima. She is especially angry about the fact that Denji and Aki are so obsessed with her. She simply doesn't understand why. And then of course, she offers to have sex with a 16-year-old kid, which is just... great. But I guess Denji got much more than he dreamed about, so I wonder how he will act after that. And that is the end of this extremely gross episode, and also here we get a special psychedelic ending theme, featuring the female devil hunters and also Denji's special moments. Ugh. So, what do you think about this episode? Were you also grossed out, or was it just me? Let me know in the comments. And that is all for this video, my chainsaw loving friends, and I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me what you think. And I will see you all real soon in my next video, and even sooner in the comments. But until then, let me just remind you all to dedicate your hearts to humanity, inside and outside the walls.